months while the Coast Guard decided what to do with him. I was on the payroll of the Coast Guard, but I had no one to report to, nowhere to go, nothing to do. I was living in Brooklyn with my brother David in an apartment. While still a member of the Coast Guard, Lawton took advantage of his mob connections and became an associate of the Gambino crime family. The Gambino clan was run by Paul Castellano until December of 1985, when he was gunned down while eating at Sparks Steakhouse by men hired by John Gotti. Lawton became a bartender at one of the mob-owned lounges with the blessing of my made man, Dominic Ganji, who was close to Castellano. While there, Lawton began his education in the bookmaking business. While I was still in the Coast Guard, I was told by Dominic, go to Luke's Piano Lounge on Union Turnpike in Queens, and you'll be taken care of. They're expecting you. I then started bartending and really learning the bookmaking business. His teacher was one of the best, Mac the bookie, the biggest bookie in all of New York. Mac set up shop at Luke's Piano Lounge, said Lawton, and all the bookies from around New York City would lay their money off to him. A bookie doesn't gamble. A bookie takes bets on any game in any sport and doesn't care who wins. He takes money on both sides and he makes his 10% from the vig. But if the betting is running $50,000 on one team and $20,000 on the other, he better lay the difference off. You got to lay that $30,000 off, otherwise you become a gambler. Who do you lay it off to? Vegas isn't going to just take it like that. They don't know what line you're going to negotiate. You negotiate the line and lay the difference off with Mac the bookie. He was the layoff guy for New York. Mac was a Jew who had a lot of juice because all of the big bosses respected him for his brains and his ability to make money. He was an older guy with white hair. Whenever I was there, I'd run next door to the deli to get him a toasted English muffin with cream cheese and jelly. I remember it like it was yesterday. Hey kid, go get me a cream cheese and jelly. And I knew exactly what it was, and I'd run from the place and go get it. Mac was highly respected, but he was tough. The guys who used to take bets from John Gotti, who was a big gambler, would call him, and he'd say to them, I don't give a f*** if John is betting. You better pay me. Because who's going to call up John Gotti and tell him he has to pay? What if John Gotti didn't pay? What are you going to do? So Mac would say, I don't care who it is. I'm going to collect it from you. So the guy calling in the bet knew that Mac was coming to him for the money. So Gotti might duck him, but you can't duck Mac. Lawton's bookmaking operation was small. Most of the bets he took were for $1,000 or less. He learned how to take bets and how to get the line. A customer would call and say, give me a nickel on the Giants. That meant he wanted to bet a $500 on the Giants. I want a dime. A dime is a $1,000 bet. Give me a 20-time parlay. That's two teams. One time is $5. So a 20-time bet is $100, plus the vig, of course. Give me a round robin. That's a bet on three teams. Lawton would take the action from $25 to $1,000 bets. After his apprenticeship at Luke's Piano Lounge, Larry moved his bookie operation from Queens to Brooklyn, where he set up shop at another mob-controlled bar called the Home Stretch, an old-time bar on Kings Highway and West 10th Street. The bar was one long room. On the left was a jukebox, and there was a couple of tables where the boys would play cards. On the wall is a big painting, a horse racing down, and is well known to anybody in the area. It's a big mural on the side of the wall right there. A bunch of horses coming down the stretch. It's really, really nice. In the back of the bar was a Skittle machine and a Joker poker machine that paid off. Actual paid off back then. The Home Stretch was home base for Dominic Ganji and the bar owner Willie Ventura, whose nickname was Willie the Weeper. He was called that because Willie was always bitching about something or other. Willie was my mentor, said Lawton. I looked up to him. He had a loan sharking operation, ran the numbers, bookmaking, broads. He ran the place. He owned the whole building, including the 2 apartments above the Home Stretch bar. He worked directly for Dominic. Larry needed the protection of the Gambinos to do business. You had to be connected to one mob or another, because if you aren't, and if you were making good money, other mobsters in New York would know about you, know you were a big-time earner, and they would kidnap you or torture you for your money. One way or another, they'd find out where you hid the money. But if you were connected with one of the mob families, then you were protected because you were kicking upstairs, and everybody wants to protect their own interests.